It's the CalebDMTG show.
We have moved on to the gold cards. Nearing the end, nearing the last little section here. I've run out of cold Mountain Dew, so I'm now playing on hard mode with room temperature Mountain Dew. Gotta use all the skills that I developed with cold Mountain Dew. Put them to the test. Oh, JC Foxpox just showed up? God damn it, we gotta start the whole thing over. Alright, back to the white cards. No, we're not doing that. Dennick, Pious Apprentice. Blue, white, 2-2, or I'm sorry, 2-3. My apologies, Dennick. Legendary creature, Human Soldier, lifelink. Cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities. Interesting, and it's got Disturb. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of cards in this set that interact with graveyards. So it's a really neat ability. Almost good enough for Dredge, huh? Almost. I think Dredge has something similar. It's like a 1-mana artifact is the only issue. What's the Disturb do here? Oh yeah, Lone Silver Wolf. Lone Silver Wolf's got this sweet tip. If I want to cool down a can of soda, all I have to do is put it in the freezer and wait for 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll get right on that. I'll take a 15-minute break here. Dennick, Pious Apparition, legendary creature, Spirit Soldier, 3/2 flying. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into graveyards from anywhere, investigate. This ability only triggers once each turn. That's pretty hot. Get some nice value on top of a 3/2 flyer. Yeah, 2 mana for a 2/3 lifelink that can come back is like not crazy. It is legendary. I don't think I would splash for this card. If I was like base white or base blue, I don't think I would splash for this card in limited. I don't think it would be like quite worth it. But maybe if it was like relatively free. Sideboard for modern humans. This thing? What would you want to board it in against? I guess it's kind of cute against Reanimator, huh? Because they can't like target their own stuff. That's really niche though. That's really specific. Yeah, I agree. It seems like kind of a rough hate card, but pretty good at protecting your own graveyard. It's an interesting set of abilities. I guess it's like doing enough that I could see it finding some kind of a home, but it's hard to predict what that home might look like. And it could just do nothing. That's also possible. Alright, Devoted Graphkeeper. Blue-white, 2/1 Human Peasant. When it enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, tap target creature you don't control. It's got Disturb for 1 blue-white. Comes back as a 3/1 flyer that can only block creatures with flying. It's pretty sweet. I love this art too. Riding this fucking heron. That's awesome. So if you're just using Disturb, if you're just like casting creatures from your graveyard, this ability is only going to be used offensively. You're going to be tapping down blockers. If you're playing instant speed flashback spells though, then you can tap things on the opponent's turn. I don't think this card's bad, mostly because it comes back as a 3/1 flyer. So it's kind of hard for it to be bad. but it's not like Bomby or anything like that. The abilities like can potentially get value, but they're not really why you're playing it. But it's nice. Faithful Mending. No loots here. Blue, white, instant, you gain 2 life. And then loot 2 cards. No, wait, I'm sorry. You mend 2 cards. And then it has flashback 1, blue, white. Yeah, I mean, it's instant speed. How much does that matter? How much does instant speed matter? Are we gonna play Hollow One and Historic with this thing? play like a Just Guy with Faithless Looting? It doesn't work with LED. That's true. I mean, the Faithless Looting being able to flashback for a single color is certainly relevant for Legacy Dredge. Instance will not stop night from happening. The way that day and night work, so like back in the day with old werewolves, you could like interrupt your opponent trying to shift from day to night, but now it's a active player. So either player can choose to have it shift with either by playing 2 spells or passing the turn without playing anything. And whether you can play an instant or not doesn't interact with that. I got tripped up about that too. I also missed that part of the wording. Chat had to fix me. It's complicated. It's cool. There's less feel bad for when you like take your whole turn to flip your werewolves. The opponent can't like cast a thing twice or some piddly thing. Anyway, Faithful Mending. Will this card see play? I don't know. Having the 2 life attached is kind of nice. It seems like better than Faithless Looting in Limited, just because of the instant speed and gaining 2 life, so you can gain like 4 life total. It's not like Faithless Looting was like some bomb in Limited, right? It was like fine. Certainly interesting in a Graveyard Matters format. It's hard to figure if this will actually see play in Constructed though. Maybe Graveyard Matters decks that aren't red. Huh? Maybe that'll open some of that up. Maybe gift decks in Historic. The gift decks are like not quite good enough though. And they probably want to be playing black. You think it's going to see a decent amount of modern play? What kind of deck do you envision it being played in? Just Reanimator? Like Esper Reanimator? You gonna play Jeskai Phoenix with the Demi-Lich? That's hilarious. Any control deck? I don't think this is a control card. Pitches to Force Negation? Yeah, there's no other cards that pitch to Force Negation. You would rather play Chart a Course in Modern over this. I mean, if you're doing Reanimator stuff, and you're Esper already, I could see playing this over Chart a Course. But I certainly wouldn't add a whole nother color, right? Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm gonna give this one a big old question mark. Because I'm a coward. Let's move on. Hollowed Respite. White, blue, sorcery. Exile target non-legendary creature, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it entered under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it, otherwise tap it. So this is a blink. It's a sorcery speed blink. If you use it on the opponent's card, you're basically just like tapping it. Potentially shedding 1/1 counters if it's been buffed with 1/1 counters. Potentially shedding auras if they buffed it with auras. Those are benefits. And then tapping it so it can't block that turn. And then if you're blinking your card, like say you have a comes into play value card that you want to blink, you're also giving it a 1/1 counter. Good answer to pacifism effects. Why can't it blink legendary creatures? Why does it say non-legendary? Do they just like not want it to be able to target EDH generals? That's so weird. Yeah, I don't know about this card. I think it's kind of poopy. Certainly worse than Momentary Blink, right?
Oh shit.
The fucked up thing about Momentary Blink was the instant speed nature, like blowing out removal and stuff, or doing like the block blink thing. Hey, Big Yap thinks the sub thinks the 12 months. Kills tokens? Yeah, I guess. Teferi! We got another Teferi! Who slows the sunset. 2 white, blue, legendary planeswalker Teferi. +1, starts with 4 loyalty. +1, choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanents you control, tap the chosen permanents you don't control. You gain 2 life. So that ability can be used like aggressively to tap stuff down. It can be used to untap 3 different mana producers, right? An artifact, a creature, and a land. So this Teferi can pay for itself pretty easily. And it gains life. -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. It was nice to have a card draw ability. If you're playing this on like a hopeless board, where the opponent's gonna 100% be able to like clear it, being able to like draw a card immediately is nice. And then the -7, the ultimate, is you get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. Well, that's a hell of an ult. Takes a while to get there though, huh? Starting with 4 loyalty. I am kind of relieved, because this Teferi doesn't make me hate Magic. We've had a couple of Teferis in a row that were that had a bit of that. That had a bit of that. The last one? Yeah, the loot one. The phasing one. That one was fine, you're right. Yeah, this Teferi definitely doesn't hate fun. And in fact enables it, with all that untapping and stuff. I feel like I'm going to be untapping some Grim Monoliths and stuff in Cube with this thing. I'm using it to just generate a ton of mana. Cool card. Clearly not busted, not going to like dominate standard or anything like that, but also certainly very cool. Alright. Bleed Stitched Scab. Blue-black. 2/3, creature zombie soldier. Other zombies you control get +1 +0. That's a neat little half anthem effect to have in this limited format. Also a cool one to have in standard. I like shit like that. Yeah, I'm into it. I think I'll draft this card fairly highly, despite it being 2 colors. There's a lot of zombie shit. Corpse Gobble, blue-black, instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice any number of creatures. Ooh, yet another use for these decay zombies. Create an XX blue and black zombie creature token with Menace, where X is the total power of the sacrificed creatures. I think this card is very good in this format. There's so many commons that just like shit out a decay zombie for like free. because they're so bad if you don't have a way to convert them. And this is just like, I would like to convert them. So if you just like sack 2 of them, you have a 4/4. If you sack 3 of them, you have a 6/6. And you can sacrifice other cards, you know, other cards that have like leaves play triggers that want to be sacrificed and stuff too. This could just like be a 6-sack outlet. And it has flashback. And it's instant speed. Yeah. So they're playing like a removal spell on one of your things, and you're like in response, made a fucking 8/8. Or like your opponent thinks that your zombies can't block, and so they like attack into your like piddling zombies, and you're like, surprise! They're a giant zombie. Also, fuck your attack. You can even fucking play it as an instant, eat their attacker, untap, attack with your thing, and then flash it back to like give it pseudo vigilance, right? Yeah, this card fucking rocks. You like the flavor of sewing all your zombies together? Yeah, right? Yeah, what a cool idea for a card. By your decaying bodies combined. Yes. Alright. Ludovic Necrogenius. Blue-black, 2/3. Legendary creature, human wizard. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, mill a card. Enters the battlefield or attacks, mill a card. Doing self-mill stuff. 2 mana for a 2/3 is like a fine body. And then this has X, blue, black. Exile X creature cards from your graveyard. Transform Ludovic. X can't be 0. Activate only as a sorcery. The backside says 4/4. Olhag, Ludovic's Hubris. So you have to spend at least 5 mana. And you get a 4/4. As this creature transforms into Olog, it becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it, except its name is Olog. It's a 4/4. It's a legendary blue-black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put a number of 1/1 counters on Olog equal to the number of creature cards exiled with it. Oh, cool. So it scales with how many creatures you exile, right? And you can exile just 1 creature and get a 5/5. And you can exile like a bunch of creatures, and then for each 1 extra mana you pay, you're getting another 1/1 counter. And it says it becomes a copy of a creature. So it's not getting all the abilities of the creatures that you exile, but it's getting the abilities of one of them. If you exile 3 cards, and one of them is a Grizzlebrand, you're just there, right? The backside art is really good. The backside art is something that I would like enjoy having framed on my wall. I like that shit. Crazy fantasy monster. Interesting card. A limited bomb, it does force you to, you know, be playing blue-black. But definitely a bomb, I think. Could be really good. Close to that, Yojimbo's Law. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay triple black and blue. You can play 2 blue, 2 black, and then 3 colorless. You think the front side looks like a DJ? It does look like a DJ. Cool light show going on. I don't think you play this card in Constructed. Seems like a little bit too many hoops to run through. Making sure that you have to pay at least 5 was smart on their part too. Makes the ability a lot less abusable. Siphon Insight. Blue black. Oh, she's helping those pirates take a nap. That's kind of her. Keeping her friends company while they nap a little bit. Instant, look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down and put the other on the bottom of that library. You may look at and play the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled. You may spend mana as though were mana of any color to cast that spell. And then you can flash it back. So you get like half a Golos trigger for 2 mana. And then you can flash back. I mean, I like this card, but it's not good. Golos coming with a 2/3 Death Touch body attached was a pretty big part of it, I think. That is missing from this card. You wish this was target player? Yeah, target player would be a little bit better. If your opponent's deck fucking sucks. Golos, not Golos, sorry, Gonti. Yeah, I meant to say Gonti. All those G words getting mixed up in my head. Think twice? Yeah, sort of. Sort of. I guess if you're blue-black already, then it's basically think twice and limited. Note that you can't get lands off of it, like with Gonti. Oh, you can hit lands off of it? Just kidding. Yeah, it does say play. That makes it a lot better than I was thinking. Yeah, maybe this card's actually fine. Cast it after the Vamp Tutor. Yeah, that'd be filthy. Yeah, using it after the opponent surveils or scries something to the top is also pretty sweet. Screw up their filtering. Yeah, I could be underestimating this card. I'm certainly willing to try it, huh? I'm certainly willing to try it out. You don't get why Wizards treats the opponent's decks as more valuable. Well, I don't think this card is doing that, right? Like, if you people are comparing this card to Think Twice, right? This is not just drawing a card; it's looking at 2 cards, so it's treating them as less valuable. It's giving you like a little bit of selection. You think it's fine? Yeah. I'm actually not sure if it's better in limited or constructed, though. It'll be interesting. It's probably best in cube. Florian, Valdarin Scion. 1 black, red, legendary creature, vampire noble, 3/3 first strike. Beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library. X is the total amount of life your opponent's lost this turn. Exile one of those cards and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may play the exiled card this turn. Oh, sweet. So 3 mana for a 3/3 first strike is like kind of just fine stats, and it doesn't have evasion. But it can draw cards. It seems like vampires are not doing very much if they're not damaging the opponent in this format. Which is fine. I mean, red-black should be aggressive. Hungry for more. Red-black sorcery. Create a 3/1 black and red vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Then it flashes back for 3. That's kind of sweet. Some nice little graveyard value. I like that it's a vampire too. Relevant creature type. Yeah, we've had something close to this card. Just the 2 mana, 3/1 haste, trample that died at end of turn. That you could unearth or whatever. Yeah, some synergy with the sack vamp. Probably not constructed playable, but, you know, interesting. Throwing lifelink on there is interesting little buff. I don't hate it. Makes it a lot better in like a racing situation. Vampire Socialite. Red-black creature vampire noble. Menace 2/2. In this battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a 1/1 counter on each other vampire you control. So a 1/1 counter on each other vampire you control is a little bit... I mean, it's not inherently better or worse than a Lord Effect. A Lord Effect will pump future vampires you play, but if you kill the Lord, you lose the buff. Putting a 1/1 counter on them means that even if you kill the Socialite, it still leaves that lasting value in play. I think on average, putting a 1/1 counter on each other vampire you control is better than a static Lord Effect. But the a Lord is better to play on turn 2, right? If you're stacking Lords. Anyway, then the last ability is as long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter. Oh, cool. So it does the Lord thing too. There's actually just no downside, huh? Yeah, this card's sweet. It like just doesn't punish you for playing it on turn 2 at all. Like I thought it was going to. I should have finished reading the whole card before I started talking, huh? Yeah, 2 mana for a 2/2 Menace is really nice. An aggressive curve. And there are some 1-drop vampires. You can even like pump something and then hit on turn 3, play another vampire that gets pumped too. I think this card's good. Certainly first pickable if you're looking to do red-black vampire stuff. Red-black vampire business. Wait the Slaughter. 5 mana for a sorcery. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. An opponent chooses one of them. Return that card to your hand. Return the other to the battlefield under your control. Gains haste. Exile it at the end of the next end step. And it's got flashback. What an interesting fucking card. A little pricey. I think this card, by giving the opponent some say-so in which comes back and which goes to your hand, I think that makes it like a little wonky for it to be like a limited bomb. So you kind of have to be like giving them a choice that's not a real choice. Like here, opponent, either the Archon or the Grizzlebrand goes to play and the other one goes back to my hand, that sort of thing. But then 5 mana is a lot. Oh, they don't have to be different cards. They can be 2 Archons. Archon's a lot better to give haste to. But then you have to get the one in your hand back in the graveyard for the flashback. Reminds you of Cauldron Dance. It is kind of similar to Cauldron Dance, yeah. It is certainly an interesting card, but I don't know how excited I am about it. If you only have 1 card in your graveyard, it puts in your hand. Oh, interesting. It does say, I mean, you can just choose. It says choose up to 2 target cards. So if you just choose a single card, you can just put it back in your hand. You don't have to choose 2 target things and give them an option. 5 mana, return a creature from your graveyard to your hand is like not that interesting and limited. But now it like kind of gives yourself some more options instead of necessarily giving them to the opponent. You can make them do a bad choice, or you can remove that choice and get less value. Yeah, every once in a while it'll be right to do a 5 mana Raise Dead. Maybe just like have enough mana. It would be a lot more interesting in 4 mana, I agree. Like Constructed. Even if the flashback's still 6, right? Just like if it was 4 mana to cast it instead of 5. It would start to look interesting for Constructed. I think 5 mana is just going to push it out. Anyway, we can move on. Arlen, the Pack's Hope. 2 red-green legendary planeswalker Arlen. Starting 4 loyalty. Daybound. Until your next turn, you may cast creature spells. This is the +1. Until your next turn, you can cast creature spells as though they had flash. Each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. And the -3 is create 2 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good downtick. And the uptick letting your you cast creature spells as though they had flash means that if you untap with Arlen, you can uptick, pass the turn, flip it, and then on your opponent's turn you can like continue. You know, you're not really time walking yourself because you can play out creatures on the opponent's turn, and it'll still buff them. Let's see what the Nightbound side looks like. Well, that is terrifying. Legendary Planeswalker Arlen, still 4 loyalty. +2, add red-green. And then 0 at end of turn, until end of turn, becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste. So it's already Nightbound. You can play this for 4 and fucking 5 in. Yeah, big old doggo. Is this card good? I think this card is good. It's going to be whether or not there's like a red-green shell for it. We were looking at the Lightning Bolt earlier, though, and thinking about constructed playable Daybound, Nightbound cards. And I think this would be one of those. This and the red 3-drop are the two that stand out to me the most. Bard class baby? Yeah. The Grave Titan? Yeah, the Grave Titan's a little expensive. This does ramp into it, though. Oh my god. It's so cute. It's so cute! So vicious. This is some sick fucking alt arts. I think this is my favorite backside. Yeah, I think this one's my favorite front side. Even it is a little churchy. Just because the pup's so fucking adorable. Alright, Dire Strain Rampage. 1 red-green sorcery, rare. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. Oh, I remember this card. If a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Otherwise, its controller may search the library for a basic land card, put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So obviously, you're not targeting your opponent's lands with this very often. You're more often than not putting out your own mana base to ramp yourself. You can pop flagstones with this if you have a Naya mana base somehow in like modern. Turn 1 like forest, birds of paradise. Turn 2 flagstones. Fucking blow up my flagstones. Get 3 lands. Play like a turn 3 primetime or something. And then, yeah, if you're treating this like as primarily a ramp spell with flashback, and then you can also use it as a like an assassin's trophy if you want to hit an artifact or an enchantment with it. I think this should be able to pop planeswalkers too. Fuck planeswalkers. It's interesting though. It's interesting. Potentially good enough. Should mostly be using it as ramp. Mostly using it as ramp and fixing. So certainly not like a build around limited rare or anything like that. Nothing you're like stretching your mana base to fit. Yeah, hit your own Chromatic Star or something. It's a cool idea too. That's a cooler idea than hitting your own land. Yeah, I kind of like it too. If a land is indestructible, does it still trigger? I mean, you can read the card and have that. If a land was destroyed this way, no. No, if you target an indestructible thing, it's not gonna... It does say otherwise. So you would still get 1 land by targeting an indestructible land. But that's not really better, right? Kaseg Naturalist, red-green, creature, human, werewolf, 2/2, uncommon. Whenever it attacks at a red or green until end of phase, you do not lose this mana as steps in phase's end. Cool little ramp thing. And then the backside, other werewolves and wolves you control get +1/+1. Well, that's pretty fucking sick. Sick little limited ability. Whenever it attacks, add red or green. Until end of turn, you do not lose this mana. Yeah, no, I imagine this card's gotta be a high pick in red-green werewolves, huh? It's gotta be. It's the fucking anthem. And it ramps into your big things. Not really costed for constructed play, but who knows? I've lost to red-green werewolves in constructed before. Tovolar, Dire Overlord, 1 red-green, legendary creature, human, werewolf, 3/3. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If any of your upkeep you've controlled 3 or more wolves or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. Jeez. That's doing a whole lot there. So, whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. For a 3-mana 3/3, that's like fine. It's tied to the tribe, you know, so it's not like a busted ability or anything like that, but it's gonna be really good in the right deck. And then the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and or werewolves, so it counts itself, so it's just like 2 more wolves or werewolves. It becomes night, then transform any number of human werewolves you control. So it becomes night, so wouldn't stuff like transform to night? So are you flipping them multiple times? Oh, the second phrase is for older werewolves. Okay. Gotcha. So it's night already. None of the new ones are human werewolves. It would just be the old cards that don't care about day and night. Sure. So that's just for like EDH, or if someone wants to play modern werewolves or whatever. Make sure their hunt masters get flipped too. And then it's still got the draw card ability on the backside, but it also has a Keswick Wolf Run stapled to it. X green red, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. And it's a 4/4 on the backside. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet looking. A highly demanded werewolf commander. Yeah, fucking casuals love werewolves. Cool stuff. I was gonna say, where's the axe in this art? Because it's here in the alt art, but it's there hanging off the belt. Fucking dual wielding. Cool shit. Yeah, I don't think wolves and werewolves are gonna make a splash in standard or anything like that, but it is cool that EDH players get it, and it's a fun build around for limited, right? Grab it early, take every wolf and werewolf you see, murder some fools. Unnatural Moonrise, green, red, sorcery. It becomes night. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Flashback, 2 green, red. This card's actually interesting. Like, I think you're supposed to cast this when you've got this like giant army in play. I think the idea behind this card is that you cast it with this giant army in play, and then like your board just like flips out of nowhere and kills the opponent when they're not expecting it. However, if you're like sure that your opponent's gonna play a 3-drop, or I'm sorry, if you're sure that they're not gonna be able to play 2 things to flip it back, you could almost just cast this on 2. Like if you're on the play, and you just like cast this on turn 2 so that your werewolves come into play on night side. Like, I'm thinking about the 3 mana red rare that can be like a 5/4 trample haste for 3 mana. Oh, it needs to have a target to cast it. So you would have to have a 1-drop, or the opponent would have to have a creature. The opponent can double spell it back to day, but they're very unlikely to be able to do that early in the game. I'm just thinking like turn 3 fucking 5/4 haste trampler is pretty filthy. Anyway, sweet card is sweet. Dawnheart Wardens. 1 green, white. Creature, human warlock, vigilance, coven. Been able to combat on your turn. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. This card is not a reason to draft green-white. Do not see this as a bomb and a reason to go into green-white. This is like something to do once you're already there. Join the Dance is kind of sweet. Works pretty well with the Dawnheart Wardens. It's nice to have them both right fucking next to each other here. Create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens with flashback. 1 green, 1 white sorcery. An old sorcery speed raised the alarm, but it does have flashback. And Dawnheart Wardens is implying that you're going to be doing like a go wide thing with it, with green-white. Catilda, Dawnheart Prime, green-white, legendary creature, human warlock, 1/1, protection from werewolves. Get fucked, werewolves. Human creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. And then 6 mana tap, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Interesting. So it is in and of itself a mana dork. You know what? You know what, like, weirdly appeals to me about this card? Playing turn 3 Cocos in Historic. Humans get a mana dork. A Springleaf Drum with Gavony on a body. I mean, it's not really a Springleaf Drum, right? Because, I mean, it itself gets the mana ability. On top of, it's like Cryptolith Rites. This is a Cryptolith Rites on a body. That's a little bit better. Yeah, Gemhide Sliver. I'm gonna play this shit. It is a legend, but I'm still gonna play like 2 of them in Historic. If it's interesting in Historic, it's probably interesting in other formats. People messed around with Coco and Humans in Modern for a little bit. Modern's already had Noble Hierarch, though. They didn't need this, I don't think. Anyway. Cool shit. Rite of Harmony. That's some striking art. That's some very high contrast art. Green-white instant rare. Whenever a creature enchantment enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. Flashback 2 green-white. This card sucks, right? The benefit over Glimpse of Nature is that it triggers off of enchantments. And Glimpse of Nature is cast, so if you've got something that just like, you know, sacks to make tokens or whatever, you can potentially do something with Rite of Harmony. The flashback, I mean, ideally you'd be getting enough value off of the front side that you wouldn't need the flashback to win the game. The flashback is good against like counters maybe, if you have a pile of mana. The benefit over Glimpse is that it isn't banned. Are you talking about Modern specifically? Because Glimpse is very, very much not banned in Legacy. Triggers off Elves tokens. I don't think that matters. I get that it triggers off of tokens and stuff. I believe I mentioned that, but yeah, I don't think it matters. You're spending 2 mana. That Beck Call card was kind of interesting because you could like make tokens with it. It could like draw off of itself. And this like doesn't have that at all. Yeah, right. Which token generators are you pairing this with? What deck do you just like have 2 mana floating around so you can actually like pop the fuck off? I do remember bringing in the jar with Beck and Calm. Asking me if I remember that. I played so much of that deck. I was so sad when they like altered it, just to fuck me specifically. The one weirdo dicking around with it in Modern. I wasn't the only one, but still, it felt that way. Felt like I was being specifically targeted. Specifically, Caleb shall have no more fun. Get fucked, Caleb. Yeah, I mean, I've tried to make Glimpse work often enough. I mean, lots of people have tried to make Glimpse. Or, not, I'm sorry, not Glimpse, but Beck. Lots of people have tried to make Beck work in Modern and wherever it's legal. It's never quite good enough. People tried it out as, like, additional copies of Glimpse in Legacy. Try to make the kobolds work. 2 mana is a lot of mana. And you need a ton of mana. You think it has potential? I mean, every card has potential. It's like you're calling it EDH playable. It's like, okay. Sweet. It's an instant. What creatures or enchantments are you playing at instant speed? How does it being instant instead of sorcery matter? That Promise of Bunrai, draw 4. Unbeatable. Oh, in response to the Upkeep Bitter Blossom trigger, of course. What was I thinking? And then you play another Bitter Blossom and draw another card? What? For only 4 mana, you can draw 2 cards? Right, Omen of the Sun, draw 3. For only 5 mana, you can draw 3? What? What? Yeah, that's like a really good scenario for this card, and it's just not impressive, huh? Like, you just have a card that draws 3. Continually untap Vial. There's a Merfolk that untaps Vial every time a Merfolk comes into play. Are we brewing Bant Merfolk for Modern? Fucking Marrow Regery. You play your Rite of Harmony, right? And then you tap your Aether Vial. You put a Merfolk into play. It draws a card. The Marrow Regery untaps the Aether Vial. Let's move on. Sigarda, Champion of Light. 1 green, white. Legendary creature Angel. 4/4 flying trample. Humans you control get +1/+1. Those are some fucking awesome abilities. Coven. Whenever Sigarda attacks, if you control 3 more creatures with different powers, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a human creature card from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a human tribal card, not an angel tribal card. But the Anthem's sweet. If you get to attack with it, getting value is sweet. It kind of seems like overkill, huh? You untap with your, like, mythic 4-drop. Then Anthem's your board, and you attack in. And you have to have, like, at least 2 other creatures. I don't know how much getting another human card is gonna matter. Yeah, right. Get to draw a card after you attack for 16. That was kind of the issue with the 2-mana 3/3.
Oh shit! What up?
Like if you attack with 6 power or something, you get to draw a card, but you're also like attacking for a lot. That card was good. It's probably good with this card. Hey, Rip Rager, thanks for the 59 months there. Appreciate it. Is Sigarda playable in Modern? No, it is not. 4 is a lot of mana. It's like almost good enough in Historic. I could maybe consider playing 1. If you're playing green anyway, for Coco or something. Could be good enough for Standard, you know, if you got a Standard Humans deck. But not Modern. Not Modern, not Legacy. Can't stay away. Green, or I'm sorry, white, black. A little kitty. Joining his cat friends for some din-din. Sorcery, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains, if this creature would die, exile it instead. Then you can flash back for 3 white, black. So you're getting value, you're reanimating something, but it has to cost 3 or less. Death is no impediment to dinner. Love it. Yeah. I'm trying to evaluate this card. 2 mana is a lot for an Unearth, even if it does have flashback. I'm thinking like Mardu Pyromancer, right? It's like almost good enough. I think Unearth is just better, even with the flashback. I mean, you do flashback Seasoned Pyromancers for 5 mana, a decent amount in that deck. Maybe the flashback value is worth it. That's the one place I would think of looking at it. I guess Unearth isn't in fucking Historic, if you wanted to try Mardu Pyromancer there. Lingering Souls also isn't in Historic, though, so... Is Death Shadow still a thing in Modern? It is. But Death Shadow has better cards than this. That cat's mouth is messed up? You talking about the one on the right? Nah, they do that. Some cats do that. They'll just like scoop. They'll scoop with their mouths. They don't really have chewing teeth. So sometimes you'll see a cat just like fucking shovel in cat food like that. Just like, oh, like a fucking shovel. Fleshtaker, white, black, 2/2, a soulless husk of endless hunger. And it's a creature, human assassin. Just the soulless husk that's just like a 2/2 human. This soulless husk. Oh, hi, Bob. I didn't see you under the mask there. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life and scry 1. 1 mana, sack another creature, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Very creepy art. Love it. Perfectly good for this set, huh? White Black needs sack outlets too for limited format. I don't know if this is good enough for constructed. But I mean, if you need a sack outlet, you need a sack outlet, right? And getting +2/+2 is no joke. Get some real damage in. Liesa, Forgotten Archangel. 5 mana, 2 white, black. Legendary creature Angel, 4/5, flying lifelink. Hell yeah. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to its owner's hand to begin the next end step. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Yeah, this card's good. I mean, a 5 mana 4/5 flying lifelink would already be busted and limited. But the other abilities are pretty fucking sweet. Recurring your things, making sure that your opponent's things stay dead. Is it good enough for constructed play? It gives you some amount of sweeper protection. So like the body is really good against aggro, and then the ability to return your creatures is good against sweepers. So usually Baneslayers are not good against that sort of thing. They're not good against sweepers. Usually if you've got an Angel that's good against sweepers, it's also not like a lifelinker against aggro. Could be interesting. You'd have to be white-black. I don't know why you'd want to be white-black, but it's certainly interesting. There's a white-black sack deck in Standard. Yeah, it could be really good there. Or maybe some 3-color control deck wants it, or 3-color mid-range. There's an Angel deck in Standard 2022. Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't paid attention to Standard 2022 at all. The alt art is pretty cool. Some junk deck. Yeah, I could see it. Maybe even ramp it out a little early. And then it protects your mana dorks and shit. Rite of Oblivion. White, black, sorcery. Is an additional cost to cast this spell. Sacrifice a non-land permanent. Exile target non-land permanent. Yeah, very much a sacrifice card, huh? I think this, and it's got flashback for 2 white, black. I think this card is very good in limited. Like, I think you can first pick this card in limited. Again, there's so many of those fucking zombies with decay. So in white, black, you want to sacrifice things anyway. Like, you've got a lot of cards that you actually, like, actively want to sacrifice. So this kind of seems just like a removal spell with flashback in the right archetype, right? In the right archetype. It's almost worth talking about for constructed. The fact that it's got flashback. Demonic Pact support? Yeah, right? Right? Answer 2 of your own packs with value. I like this card a lot. Obviously it won't fit every deck. Not every deck has things to sacrifice. So you can't just like throw this into a control deck and have it be the best removal spell ever. But next I want to sack things. Hell yeah. Top tier card right there. Arcane Infusion. Blue-red instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card. Among them, put into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library, and flash this back for 5. So it impulses, but just for an instant or sorcery. So this goes into Spells Matters, but like pretty much no other decks. Potentially constructed card. Probably not, but potentially. Galvanic Iteration. Blue-red instant rare. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it's a fork. I mean, it's a fork that you have to precast. Fork could cast something, copy something that was on the stack, right? So you could use it in like a counter battle, I think is the one benefit it would have over this. Having flashback is pretty sweet. Yeah, fork could copy the opponent's things, and it could copy counter spells effectively. So it's no fork. But having flashback is kind of cool. I gotta imagine that like removal is the best thing to copy with this. Usually draw spells are a little expensive, but who knows? Interesting anyway. Probably not that great of a card. Alright, Storm Skrillex. 3 blue, red, 2/4, flying, Drake Horror. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Interesting. Yeah, kind of an expensive card. It kind of seems like you need to value the mana reduction almost. I think it's a little, for being an uncommon and like a gold card, I think it's like a little undercosted for the format, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong there. Alright, Badric, Astral Archmage. 1 blue, red. You do need payoffs for your Spells Matter stack, right? The Storm of Skrillex is one of those. So maybe you just draft it anyway. Alright, Badric, Astral Archmage. 1 blue, red, 1/2, legendary creature, human wizard. It's neither day nor night, becomes day as Badric, Astral Archmage enters the battlefield. Instant sorcery spells can't cast cost X less to cast, where X is Badric's power. And whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a 1/1 counter on Badric. Interesting. I think this card is like quietly nutty. Like way more powerful than a 3-mana 1/2. Like looks with a bunch of like seemingly wonky abilities. Like at base, it's doing the 1 less to cast thing, which is like sort of useful. But then it ramps up really fast. Like you don't need very many 1/1 counters on this card before you're casting like kind of expensive cards for a very cheap amount. Two, 3 right off the bat? No, I mean that's not happening. Your opponent would just have to pass the turn to flip it immediately. It won't flip itself. It won't flip day to night by itself. It starts as a 1/2. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day. So if you're playing this when it's not day or night, it becomes day. The 1/1 counter says whenever day becomes night or night becomes day. So the third ability does not interact with the first one, except the first one can get the third ability rolling and can start the day-night progression. But it's not going to trigger itself. Digraph Rebirth. 3 black, green, sorcery. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Flashback for 7. Yeah, this card's not bad. Not like the worst Zombify I've ever seen. Flashback adds a lot. This card would like almost be fine even without the cost reduction. But the cost reduction makes it like potentially filthy. Remember those zombies are dying all the goddamn time. Alright, Ghoulcaller's Harvest. Green, black, sorcery. Create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with Decayed, where X is half the number of creature cards in your graveyard, rounded up. So if you have 5 creatures in your graveyard, you're making 3 2/2 zombies with Decay. This art's pretty fucking sick. It's like out for an evening ride, huh? Yeah, that art's awesome. And it's got flashback. Yeah, it's hard. I think this card's good, but it's hard to tell. The reason I think it's good is because you're only spending 2 mana, right? Obviously, you'd rather have real tokens that don't have Decayed. But if you're casting this efficiently enough, If you're getting enough bodies out of it, it could be good enough. There's a lot of ways in the limited format to convert those zombie tokens into something real. And it's got flashback, so it's something to do with your self-mill deck. Yeah, you're not playing this in Legacy Dredge, no. No, this is a limited, potentially standard card. I'd be surprised if this showed up in Modern Dredge, too. Grizzly Ghoul, 2 black, green, 4/3, zombie bear with trample. Enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. I think this card's really good. Like, 4 mana for a 4/3 trample would already be fine. But if you attack with a couple of those zombies, huh? Get that decayed business out of the way. Just march them into your opponent's creatures. Grow this thing real big. Get a fucking 6/5 or something for 4 mana. Yeah, this card's sweet. Getting Annihilation flashbacks, looking at the zombie bear. Old Stick Fingers, X, green, black, legendary creature horror. When you cast a spell, reveal cards from the top of your library and reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So the X that you put into it is going to add to its power and toughness, but then it already gets a base. It gets a base power and toughness boost from like whatever's already in your creature, whatever is already in your graveyard. So yeah, I think this card's going to just be huge, right? Like if you have 3 in your graveyard already, and then you pay 3 for X, you got like a 5 mana 6/6. I think the idea is that you're doing other stuff with your graveyard. You're playing cards like Ghoul Caller's Harvest or reanimation spells or whatever, so it's like a sweet enabler as well. One black green with a creatureless deck. No, the rest go on the bottom of your library in a random order, so you're not like milling yourself or whatever. Just have like 3 other creatures, like in a reanimator deck. Use it as like this wonky entomb. It's awkward because it counts other stick fingers, right? So you can't play like 4 of them. Exactly, 1 stick fingers, 1 target. Yeah, you can play like 1 stick fingers, 4 Archon, and then like 4 of the new Entomb. You're talking about like Modern or something. You'd have to play like green in your Reanimator deck though. It doesn't seem worth it. It does seem rough, yeah. Maybe there could be, I don't know, some reason to play it with the with Tainted Pact. I don't think so though. Interesting card though. Alright, Angel Fire Ignition. 1 red, white, sorcery. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. Gains vigilance, trample, lifelink, indestructible, and haste until end of turn. That's a hell of a lot of abilities. And then it's got flashback. Yeah, this card's fucking nutty. In limited. This is a bomb. Can you play this card in Constructed? I mean, it's kind of sicko in a in some kind of a creature mirror if you get into like a racing situation. It's very hard to race, right? And you're like leaving that residue value, leaving those 1/1 counters there. Sucks that it's a sorcery. Yeah, yeah. No, it would have been nutty with Feather. You're not wrong. It kind of seems like a sideboard card. If like Boros aggro has a mirror match, you could board this in and fuck people up, I guess. Alright. Rem Corrales, Stalwart Slayer. 1 red, white, legendary creature, human knight. Flying haste, 2/3. Spell would deal damage to you and another permanent you control. Prevent that damage. And then if a spell would deal damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +1 instead. So if you're going to shock your opponent, it turns into a bolt. I mean, there's a new shock in the format too. It's kind of hot. I'm trying to figure out if this card's better than Tajik or not. It does do the Tajik like prevention thing, which is why, they both cost 3. Tajik had 3 mana, or 3 power though, and then it also like mentored onto something else. This card's better if you're like just playing a shitload of burn spells, huh? It is a legend, so you're probably only playing a couple. Yeah, I think this card's good. It's got to be in the right deck, obviously, but I think this card's good. This is one of those cards that, like, because it's got a rare symbol on it, people are gonna warp their sealed pools or like drop everything and start drafting in limited, and it's gonna be not necessarily correct to do that because it's not a limited bomb. It is just like a flyer in limited with a few other abilities that like might come up or might not. Anyway, more interesting for constructed for sure. Certainly costed to be playable. Secret Fire, white-red instant, deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. See, it turns the Sacred Fire into a lightning helix. It's pretty worth already. And it's got flashback. Yeah, I think this card's hot. I like that art too. Real zesty. Shocking helix. Potentially better in control than aggro, because control is going to care more about the life. But I mean, sometimes you're playing an aggro mirror. Sunrise Cavalier, 1 red white, creature human knight, trample haste. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day when it enters the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Trample haste is a sweet set of abilities. Yeah, this is another one of those that's like borderline constructed playable. Day-night cards for the lightning bolt. Worth keeping in mind. Croaking Counterpart. Some of the oddest art in the set. Fucking amazing. I love this giant toad. God, this frog reminds me of the toad from Wind in the Willows. Just riding this bizarre mount. The only way to travel! Anyway, 1 green-blue sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target non-frog creature, except it's a 1/1 green frog. And it's got flashback. Yeah, I think this card's really cool. I don't know if it's good, but it's certainly really cool. I'm into it. Yeah, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride going on right before our eyes here. Recoil Creeper, green, blue. Creature Plant Horror. Taps to add a mana of any color. Taps to add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast spells from your graveyard. And then green, blue, tap, exile it. Return target card with flashback you own from exile to your hand. Wow, this card's awesome. And it fits the set really well. Not a crazy card to see constructed play if you're in blue-green ramp, you know. Sometimes 2 mana dorks are playable. Especially if the graveyard and flashback aspects of it are useful. Obviously limited, good and limited, right? If you're in the colors. Slogurk the Overslime, 1 green, blue, legendary creature, ooze, rare, 3/3, trample. Whenever land is put into your graveyard from anywhere, put a 1/1 counter on it. Remove 3 1/1 counters on it, return it to its owner's hand. And when it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. So this card's like kind of working well with Loam, kind of doing a Loam impression by itself. Works really well with cycling lands and sack lands. Ooh, I like that alt art a lot. Sliming up that ship. That's sweet. I guess they both are. The ship outline on the moon is really striking, though. It's really good use of black and white. Kind of a hard card to evaluate. Treatment it for a 3/3 trample is like fine and limited. It's fine base. And then there's like a lot of self-mill in the set to like grow this. Yeah, I think this card's really good. Because green and blue can do the self-mill thing in this format. Probably just murder somebody. It feels like it should be a companion for like Loam decks in Eternal formats, but it's hard to imagine how that would work out, just like looking at it, just reading it. Winterthorn Blessing, green, blue, sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. Tap up to 1 target creature you don't control, and that creature does not untap during its controller's next untap step, and it's got a flashback. I think this card's a little bit better than it looks. Usually the cards that like tap the opponent's creature, they don't untap as normal or whatever, usually they're a little bit better than they look. This one leaving residue value on, and then also being a flashback card, right? Being a flashback card here. So when you're doing the self-mill thing, you got something that can be used defensively or aggressively, or just to get a 1/1 counter even. Yeah, very good Frost Breath. That's how I'd put it too. Alright, Crossroads Candle Guide. 4 mana for a 3/4 artifact creature Scarecrow. Enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. 2 mana to add 1 mana of any color. So I guess you're only playing this if you like are hard up for a 4 mana 3/4, or if you're hard up for fixing, huh? It's not a Delirium format. Seems very fillerish. Jack-o'-lantern. 1 mana artifact. Sacrifice it, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard, draw a card. Nice. Or you can exile it from your graveyard, add 1 mana of any color. Interesting. So it's kind of doing a little bit of graveyard hate. Kind of doing a little bit of fixing. It's like somewhere in between a Scrabbling Claws and a fucking Chromatic Star. I like that card a lot. Real interesting. Gonna see a lot of play, I think. It's pretty free, right? Cantrips are usually pretty free. Moonsilver Key. 2 colorless. Artifact. Tap. 1 mana tap. Sacrifice it. Search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Sweet. So it's a little expensive. It's a little expensive for just like tutoring for a land. But if you do have an artifact card with a mana ability, that's a little bit better, right? Like, it's 2 mana for a Traveler's Amulet instead of 1 mana. But Traveler's Amulet is like a totally reasonable card. It could even search up the crappy Scarecrow, yeah. I mean, searching up a Scarecrow is much better than searching up a land if you already have plenty of lands. Just saying. Mystic Skull, 2 mana, artifact, 1 tap, add 1 mana of any color. 5 mana tap, transform Mystic Skull. That's the old invasion way of fixing, huh? Where it's not actually ramping you, it's just filtering. But this one turns into a fucking 5/6. It still continues to fix. It fixes for all your lands. It's kind of cool. I don't think this card's bad. It looks like it should be bad, but I don't think it's bad. Decidedly playable. Pithing Needle, 1 mana artifact. As enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Activated abilities of sources with a chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Yeah, kind of bold. Kind of bold to print 1 mana answers to planeswalkers. In the same format as you're printing like 5 mana planeswalkers, right? Yeah, that's power creep for you. That's power creep. Wonder if Wizards will regret printing that one. All these fucking new cards. Alright, Silverbolt. 1 mana artifact. 3 mana tap. Sacrifice Silverbolt. It deals 3 damage to target creature. If a werewolf is dealt damage this way, destroy it. Yeah, I mean, the werewolves are fucking huge. I like the flavor. This actually kind of seems like one of the better, like, shitty artifact removal spells that we've seen. Like, usually they cost more than 3 mana to activate. 1 to play, 3 to activate isn't bad, and deal 3 damage to a creature. Yeah, the fact that it kills, like, any werewolf. Stuffed Bear, 2 mana artifact. 2 colorless, becomes a 4/4 green bear artifact creature token until end of turn. What do you think, Sir Barrington? Whew! I did not expect that. Well, I think Sir Barrington said everything that we need to hear. The definitive review on Stuffed Bear, right there for you folks live. The Celestus, 3 colorless legendary artifact. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as the Celestus enters the battlefield. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. 3 mana tap, if it's night, it becomes day, otherwise it becomes night. Activate only as a sorcery. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Yeah, this card's fucking awesome, right? Can we all agree that this card is fucking awesome? So it's it's a mana rock that just like controls whether it's night or becomes day. You don't need to have like 2 spells to flip it back, right? Or you can flip it even if you plan on playing things. And you get to gain a life and loot. Potentially another one of those day-night cards that makes the Lightning Bolt playable. Well, the Lightning Bolt is better in aggro. And usually you don't want mana rocks in your aggro deck. And it loots. And it loots. Oh man, these basics are so fucking cool looking. I remember when I saw them first spoiled and it was like really tiny on Twitter or something, and I was like, yeah, those look fine. Seeing them big seems really nice. Of course on my screen, these are like larger than they'll actually be in card form. Still really cool though. Hostile Hostel. Land, tap for colorless. 1 tap, sack a creature, put a soul counter on Hostile Hostel. Then if there are 3 or more soul counters on it, remove those counters and transform it and untap it. Activate only as a sorcery. And then flips into a 3/7. Whenever it attacks, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of creature cards exiled with creeping in. And then 4 mana creeping in phases out. Well, that seems fucking impossible to deal with, doesn't it? I think there's thunder going on outside my house. It's creeping in because it's creeping and, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, the double pun. Running the double pun. Isn't this card good? It's like obviously good if you're like white-black and limited and want to sack things, right? Is it good and constructed? You have to sack 3 different creatures. You kind of just like have to want to be sacking your stuff, right? I've been playing sacrifice type decks in Historic, and I can't think of any of them that would want to play this card. This is too slow. This is too slow, and the 1 mana to activate it. I kind of feel like this should just be a tap sacrifice. You can only do it as a sorcery anyway. If you're tapping it to sacrifice something, then you're not tapping it for mana that turn. It's kind of like you're already paying 1. So the tap sacrifice a creature is almost like paying 2 mana, right? You have to tap 2 lands to do it. I don't think that's good. It's a mythic, though. It's gotta be good. Yeah, you can't do it at the end of the opponent's turn, or in like response to your card's dying or whatever. It is a sweet card though. Super cool card. Maybe it's good enough against control. Like maybe the flip side is good enough against control that you just play it anyway. And just plan on like sacrificing your creatures and just brick their removal. I don't know. Yeah. That is some loud thunder. Could you guys hear that? Or do me and the music cover it up? That was like a loud crack. Deserted Beach. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Ah, the slow lands. I heard somebody call these the Nassif lands. Which I got a chuckle out of. Yeah, these are sweet, right? Aggro doesn't want to play a tapped land on turn 1. But if you're playing this for your splash color, like say like a 3-drop that you want to play on turn 3, that's totally reasonable. And if you're playing this in a control shell, you don't mind playing a tap land on turn 1. The card's just awesome. Yeah, I think these lanes are really good. Gonna see a lot of play. Yep. That's my expert analysis. These cards are good. Yeah, the alt arts are gorgeous. You're not wrong. I love how they like this one is using like light and contrast really well, and that kind of like extends in. Yeah, this one is too. Yeah, the alt arts are all amazing. Anyway, and there's Field of Ruin. Love having Field of Ruin in Standard. I think that's it, folks. I think that does it.